Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. This is just a quick video. Had quite a good weekend tidying up in the garden, but it's cumulative. I'm suffering for it a bit. I had a nothing day yesterday. I did nothing. I watered my mounts. Oh, and I changed the water on the Deesers. No, I didn't. I did that Sunday. So did next to nothing yesterday under instructions by Hannah. Literally cumulative, the long drive on Thursday and standing around and, being on my feet for a long time, more driving on Friday, working on the garden Saturday, working on the garden Sunday, more driving. So Hannah said you need to take a couple of days off and get all your twinges solved before you start on anything new that could add to it. So you'll be starting from fresh and just do little bits. So I've been told off. But I've watered everything outside today, the tubs and the bonsai, so I haven't got anything else to do out there, apart from go and sit in the sun perhaps later on. But the watering's coming back now. We've got no sign of rain for a week. And that's as far as they look. So it could be a month. Who knows? We've already had the driest spring on records and the sunniest, but it's affecting the orchids on the grounds that this is heating up during the day because the sun's on the roof for it's at its longest period. I mean, we're only, we're less than a week away from the, I nearly said the dreaded longest day. It's the day with the most daylight. Not the longest day. All the day lengths are exactly the same. Nothing changes. A day is 24 hours, but it's the one with the most sunlight in it, or the most daylight in it. And that's less than a week away, and then it starts going the other way again, and that sun will gradually move down until it's gone, and then it'll be gone till next year. And that way I lose my heat. And I've still got, at the point where that sun no longer hits the roof, I've still got at least 2 months growing season where I won't have any heat, which for some plants is brilliant and for others not so good. Anyway, I was in the middle of watering my cymbidiums, which is what I'm doing today. As I water them, I get them out of the way, putting them on the floor, and then I can put them back up on the staging. And I got to this one. And I always put my bowl on my bonsai turntable so that I can spin it round and pour water in from that side, and I don't have to keep getting water all over the floor. But I noticed on this one there's some new growths coming. It's coming into growth. It's looking okay. One there, and I thought there's 2 there, and then I got to there and I thought, hold on, there's another one there. Look. And another one there. So this area here is chucking out a lot of new growth, and I thought, that doesn't look right. That's hollow. Believe it or not, that's the flower spike. It's just the one, and that's gonna mess things up. So when I put these outside in the not too distant future, this one might have to stay in for a bit longer if it's going to flower, or I just sacrifice the spike, which I'm probably not prepared to do. What is this one? Cymbidium hybrid. I'd have to look up what hybrid it actually is, but I think it's the bronzy coloured one, the one that blooms earliest in the year. Got some scale on this one as well. I got my my alcohol spray here. I'm not sure it does a good job on the scale. But it's better than nothing, and the one thing I do know it'll kill is the juveniles, which are these little white dots along the edges of the leaves. They're not mature scale. That's a mature one, tiny one. Yeah, so that spray is perfectly adequate for getting rid of the juveniles, and that stops them becoming adults. And if you stop them becoming adults, eventually they die out, which is the goal. See, that's a bad leaf. That's got a lot of adults as well as juveniles. So there's some more over there, look. So this plant's got quite a bit, of scale. The first 3 I did have got none. So it is, it's not on all the cymbidiums yet. and desperately trying to keep them off the rest of the collection, obviously. And then these will go outside in a bit. With any luck, the birds will come along and pick at them. Gradually reduce them, but obviously they'd be a lot easier to spray if they were outside. I'd be happy to get the big sprayer, you know, and do the whole lot outside, and that would just drip on the patio and can make as much mess as it likes. But it's not so easy when they're in here, because I've taken them outside and sprayed them once. I've got to wait for them to finish dripping, because I don't want the drip spray in here, if you know what I mean. Anyway, a flower spike. That's totally unexpected. There we go. I will have another clip to add on to this one to make it a slightly longer video. We have an unboxing. Now, it's not an orchid. Don't get all, you know, excited. It's not an orchid, but it's a box to unbox, and I can show you what it is. It's it has relevance possibly to in here. No, probably not. It has some relevance to in the house, but it has most relevance for in the garden. So we'll have a look at that next. Okay, those are my steps. They are very tall and slim, and as a consequence they're not safe to go up more than the third step, really. To go any higher than that, I need somebody stood on the bottom step, and when they open up they take up a lot of space, so there's lots of places in the garden where these are incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to use. So we have a solution. Okay, it would be reasonably obvious what it is if you could see the picture on the front. Sort of thing. Quite a long chat with Hannah about the solution, and she said, why don't you get a little pair of steps like what I've got? And I said, well, they're going to be just as unstable. And she said they're not actually, because the base relative to the height is bigger. So I had a look into it and I thought, well, we'll give it a go. And then it was, well, what sort? There's always choices, aren't there? And the idea was to get, well, I'll show you when I get it out, but they're not normal steps as such. They've got an extra little bit, which according to Hannah is incredibly useful. I'm hoping I can get these out the top, because the box is heavy duty metal staples that I don't want to get my knife anywhere near. So, should these lift out? Oh, yeah, I think so. Sort of. Might have been better to have come from the other end, but let's see what I can do. It's touching the sides, unfortunately, so we can run down the side of the box. Give it a bit of room. I'm probably off camera now, aren't I? Never mind. All I'm doing is cutting the side of the box to allow these to slide out. There we go. Now they should come out. Yeah, there we go. All rubbish. Now what's nice about these is they've got quite a wide base. We've only got 2 steps and a platform, but this is the bit that Hannah said is incredibly useful. So that when the steps are open, you've got something to hang on to as you walk up. So she said, like, you know, if you've got a pot of paint or something in your hand, yeah, you're not walking up the steps with nothing to hang on to. So a lot of steps don't have a handle. So it took a while to find one that was a... Do you know what? There was a lot of the adverts for the steps What do you think when you're choosing steps is the most important measurement? You can have a think about that while I get the polythene off. Which is the bit that you would need to know most about a set of steps. Oh, now I'm going to have to get that out again. They just don't want me to have these. They want them to stay wrapped up forever. I'm not allowed to use them or anything. There we go. So what I want to do is set them up, and it will make it far more obvious what I'm getting at. That's that. Paperwork's down there, strapped to the bottom step. Got some paperwork on the top step. I presume these just, yeah, they just trigger open like that. Right, let me just turn the camera down a bit. There, now you can see what I've got. Now, if you were buying a set of steps, what's the most important measurement? Do you think it's this? Do you think it's that? This could be important from the ground up to there, but I would say the most important measurement is from the ground up to here, the highest point at which you can stand. So that if you've got places you need to get, you know, you can say, right, well, we've got my arm's length, we've got the height of me, the steps need to be from my feet to the ground. This to the ground is the most important measurement. Most of the adverts did not have that measurement. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, that's what I got, and as I said, these are a good base. They've got non-slip feet. Not that that's a lot of good on gravel when I'm out on the gravel beds, but this was the important bit Hannah said. That extra support as you go up the steps of having a handle like that. Yeah? And then come safely down again. So you're keeping your balance. I like them. I like them a lot. Now these are not going to get stored outside. It didn't specifically say, but some of the adverts for steps specifically said for indoor use, and some specifically said suitable for outdoor use. This one didn't say either way, so I'm going to store this in the house. I'll take it out when I want to use it. That way it's not going to get rained on all through the whole of the winter like those do. I mean, I'd say it would be okay, it's aluminium, but there could be other parts in it that would rust. So that's what I got. Pleased with that, and somewhere to store them. Now when I did the little clip to say we're having an unboxing, that was it. Since then the doorbell went again. Hello? DPD, parcel for you. Says, you sure it's for me? Yes, it says Roger. Because he's a local guy, he's the same guy all the time, so they get to know the names that go with the address, the first names, which is nice. So I said, okay, I'll come out and get it. So we've now got another parcel. Completely unknown. This is the second one in recent times. Now last time I worked out that it was from Spice Exotic because of the return address. This time, now this could be somebody reusing a box, but I don't think so because this sticker goes across the join. It's come from a garden centre. Well, only one way to find out what's in it. There's someone at the door. Who is it? Well, if you go and answer the door, you might find out. We'll find out what it is when I get it open. This is going to be one of these anonymous boxes again. It's nice to have presents, but it's also nice to do a proper thank you, which you can't do if you don't know who it's from. So what have we got hidden away in here then? Oh, some giant popping bubbles. No, you don't pop them, you keep them, they're useful. Very useful in fact. Well, we've got a couple of them. And we've got a package with a little label that says just for you. Oh, it's from Hannah. I bet that was supposed to get here earlier. For Father's Day, I suspect. So, yeah, it's from Hannah. Now it could be that she's ordered that as a consequence of some talking we did over the weekend. So this might have been something that I said I might like one day, and she's found it somewhere online and got it sent to me. She does nice things like that. Well, obviously whatever it is a plant, because there's a lot of media which has fallen out of the pot. That's probably where Postman Pat and associated people don't read the label this way up. They sort of think, I don't care which way up. Ah. Now this has got a bit damaged and it hasn't fared well. This is a golden leafed fuchsia, because I've lost mine in the garden. That's incredibly dry, and a few of the shoots have been damaged a bit, but it'll perk up. It just needs water. Well, it can have some. I've got some here. It's almost bone dry and it's in a sort of peat mix, so it needs water. And I'll pour it all over the leaves as well so that it gets freshened up. But yes, it was the one I lost. Well, it's got lots of shoots on it, an awful lot. There's a few yellow leaves, but basically the leaves are a golden yellow colour. They do go a bit darker green as they age through the season, but yeah, that's because when we got back to hers, when I dropped her off, she pointed one out in somebody's sort of bit of garden. Because they're flats, nobody has a garden, but there are gardens around the flats that everybody mucks in looking after, although Hannah looks after most of them, or it seems she does anyway. But she pointed one out and she said there's one there, and obviously she went online and found one for me. So we need to get that growing, and I will put it in a larger pot to go outside, and so I just don't want it to drip everywhere. And it'll obviously need a larger pot because it'll expand its roots and take some of that media off, because that media just dries incredibly fast outdoors, so it'll be forever watering it. So that's what it was. So another surprise box. Hang on. That can't have come from that garden centre with the label. Otherwise, that label, which could have come from the garden centre, how would that have Love Hannah, kiss kiss written on the back? Which I think is Hannah's writing. Well, it might not be. She might have asked them to do that, I suppose. But so she may have just bought that locally and boxed it up. a possibility. But anyway, that's for the garden, obviously, and it will go out there. It'll go out there now in a shady spot, and then when it brightens up and perks up a bit, which it will, it's already looking a bit better, then we'll get it in a slightly bigger pot to start with, and then grow it on this year, and then it will go somewhere sheltered for the winter, because obviously the one I lost didn't make it through the winter. It made it through previous winters because it was already here when I got here. It wasn't one of my plants, it was already here in a pot, and I just kept it going, but it didn't make it through last winter. As I said, it was a bit exceptional last year. We had -8 in this garden, and this is a sheltered garden. You know, it's got a lot of high stuff around it, so it doesn't get the chill winds or anything, but it didn't make it. So we'll have to look after this one. I mean, it is a hardy one, you know, but when plants are hardy, when they say hardy, they're hardy down to a certain label, a certain zone. In the States they have hardiness zones, which some people use in this country, although they're not in general use in this country. But it just means, you know, they've got, this is the lowest temperature you're liable to get in this zone. And then you'll get an exception and kill half the plants you've got because they weren't hardy enough. Anyway, so that's what that was. That's your video for today. Have I got anything else? I haven't got any more new blooms, not at the moment. I'm not doing any work today. Already watering the cymbidiums and getting those steps out of that box. My back's twinging. So like Hannah said, I need to do as little as possible until all these twinges have stopped. And I can get in and out the chair without going ooh ah ooh ah. So there we go. Oh, something tickled me. I don't know what made me just think of that. That's talking about American hardiness zones. There's a comedian on, and he's always asking people in the audience, what's your name then? And they go like, James. Oh, good British name. Well, it doesn't matter what your name is, he just says good British name. That's one of his things. And he asked somebody, you know, where are you from? Canada. He said, oh, American Light. Tickled me. American Light. Anyway, big important meetings going on. Guess who walked out to poke his nose into other people's business again? Yeah, I don't know. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.